detectives, and welcome to my second update video for April. This is going to be a very quick one, but I thought I would film it to let you know how Murder Most Unladylike was getting on. And at the moment, Murder Most Unladylike Book 9 looks like this. These are proof pages. These are the first page proofs for Murder Most Unladylike Book 9, and these were sent to me from the editor in charge of this part of the process, Wendy. She sent them to me last week, and these have all been marked up with her notes. Now, the proof stages are the moment when the book goes from looking like a Word document to looking like an actual book. Obviously, these are A4 pages. It's not book sized yet, but everything is laid out as it will be in the final book. And so what we're doing when we look at these pages, we're trying to make the final changes, changing things like single letters, single words, the spacing of lines. And here you can see this page. This is not the very first page because that would tell you what the title of Murder Most Unladylike Book 9 is, and I do not want to tell you that yet. This is the beginning of the first section, which, as you can see, is going to be called Towards Zero. And Wendy has made some notes about the font and about how everything should look. And she's noted here that Nina Tara's beautiful illustrations are yet to be put in. She's just working on those at the moment. But the book is starting to look the way it will look when it is published. And for an example of one of the pages where I'm tweaking things finally, where final changes are being made, you can see this page. And you can see that on this page, I have changed the words as porters to the word porters. That is the level of change we're doing. The text is nearly done. The story is set, completely set. We are just doing tiny, tiny tweaks to make it absolutely perfect, the best it can be, before it publishes on the 6th of August. And Murder Most Unladylike Book 9 is coming out in the UK and Ireland on the 6th of August this year. I am so excited about it. We have chosen the title. The title is set. Illustrator Nina Tara, who does all of the covers for my books, she is working on the illustrations for the cover. The designer is working on the illustrations, and once they are both totally set, once the cover is completely sorted, we will be announcing the cover and the title. That, I think, will be somewhere around the beginning of May. We don't want to rush it. We want to make sure that this is absolutely perfect. But as soon as we announce it, I'll put it up on all of my social media. I'll make a video about it. I will put it on my website so you will not be able to miss what this book is called. And as I say, it's not one that any of you guessed. This is a very hard title to guess, but I think it's a great one, and I think you're going to really like it. By the way, these are notes that I've made to myself about final little bits where I need to tweak a small thing about the plot, just something about which cabin people are in, or something about when they have dinner, or something about when they go into a certain room. It's things of that level, but these are just final little notes to myself where I need to go and check this text one more time before I send it back on Wednesday. So that is what's happening with Murder Most Unladylike Book 9 at the moment. It is seriously nearly done. This is pretty much the last time that I will look at this book before it comes out, before you read it. And it has been a really emotional book to read. I really like it. I think it's great, but it has been a book that has made me cry quite a few times as I was reading it. I cried as I was reading it out loud to myself, because what I do when I am going through the proofs, just to make sure that I have checked every single word, I read the book to myself out loud. I read it really fast because it would take hours and hours and hours otherwise, but I read it out loud to myself, and there were bits that I had to stop reading and read silently because I was crying and I couldn't read. So that is the effect this book had on me, and I think you are going to be very moved by it as well. I can't say anything more about it at the moment. It is all deep secret until the 6th of August. Only about 5 people in the world, me, my husband, my mother, my editor, my agent, only those people know what happens in this book, and we need to keep it that way until the 6th of August. But then after that, you will all know, the whole world will know what happens in this book, and I'm really excited about it. So that is the state of Murder Most Unladylike Book 9. That's what I've been doing during my lockdown. Of course, I've been posting weekly prompts on my website, and I have been so impressed with the responses from you, with the number of them, the breadth of them. You've all had such unique and interesting responses to each one of the prompts. I think you're all fantastic writers. I could not be more proud. If you want to go and have a look at those, you can still respond to the oldest prompts if you want. There's no timescale on them. You can go and look at the new one that I've put up for this week, which is all about time travel, which is very exciting. But that is something that I have really enjoyed doing, and I can see that you are enjoying it as well. And I hope it is keeping you occupied during the lockdown. Now, as I said a few weeks ago in one of my previous videos, I am really struggling to read a lot during this lockdown. I thought that this would be a great opportunity for me to catch up on all the reading I should have done months and months ago. I thought I'd be sitting at home, have nothing to do, be bored, but actually turns out that everything is just taking much longer than usual, and what I'm finding is that I just really want to reread. So I've been doing a lot of rereading of some favourite books, favourite series, and one of the books that I have been rereading is Howl's Moving Castle by Diana Wynne Jones. Now, I love Diana Wynne Jones's books. I've talked about her a lot. She's a huge influence on me. She is not an author who writes murder mysteries. She writes fantasy, fiction, but I absolutely love her. And I think that the way her characters talk, the way she writes her worlds is something that has really influenced me in my own writing. At the moment, Netflix in the UK has just put up the Howl's Moving Castle movie, which is very different to the book. It's got quite a different presentation of Howl, the main wizard in it, and Sophie, the main character. It's, I think, really quite a different story to this book, but it is brilliant. I love it, and I also love the book for very different reasons. So we watched the film, and then I decided I wanted to go and reread the book, and I did, and it's still just as brilliant as it ever has been. I think I've read this book about 20 times in my life, and every time I read it, I just get swept away by it again. I absolutely love it. So this book and its sequels I've been reading. The sequels are good. They're not as good as the original. This book is the one you should be reading, and I think it's perfect for anybody sort of 10 plus who likes magical fiction, who likes fairy tales, who likes really well put together stories with really engaging characters you can really root for and who feel very real. So that is Howl's Moving Castle, which has been the book that has given me a lot of comfort during my lockdown. I have been doing a little bit of reading new books. I've been going and looking at all of the proofs that I was sent over the last few months that I didn't have time to read earlier this year, and one that really caught my eye and I picked up and it really sucked me in when I started reading it was The Good Hawk by Joseph Elliot. I'm about halfway through it now, and I think it's absolutely fantastic. It's an adventure story. It's set in Scotland, an island off Scotland. I think it's set in the far past, in a world that's slightly magical. It's good for anybody sort of 10 plus who likes stories where characters go on quests, where there's magic. It feels a bit sort of historical, very old, sort of prehistorical. They're living together in clans, they're living sort of off the land. It is not an advanced civilization, I think, unless there's going to be a twist at the end of the book. But I've really enjoyed this, and I think you will as well. Finally, I've read a book that I think will be perfect for anyone who wants to get a very young reader into detective fiction. I don't have it in a nice finished edition. I have a printed out proof, so I can't really show it to you, but it is Serena Patel's Anisha Accidental Detective. It is so funny. It is so clever. It is, I think, for readers sort of 6, 7 plus. It's about a girl called Anisha who has to stop a dastardly plot that will derail her beloved auntie's wedding. It is a very clever book. The mystery is very well put together. The characters are very realistic, and it's extremely funny. So if you have younger detectives, people who want to read my books might be still a little bit too young for them, Anisha Accidental Detective by Serena Patel is brilliant. So that's what I've been reading, that's what I've been doing today. Just before I filmed this video, I did a live Q&A with Cambridge Literature Festival, a wonderful festival that I was meant to visit this weekend. I'm filming this on the Sunday before you're watching it. Very sadly, of course, because of the coronavirus outbreak, no festivals are happening at the moment, no events are happening, so I decided to do an online version instead, and that is still up on the Cambridge Literature Festival's Facebook page. You can go watch it if you didn't manage to catch it live. And as I say on the stream, if you want to support that festival, go and have a look at their Facebook page, and also go on to blackwells.co.uk because they are still shipping out books. You can buy all the books that I mentioned. They are a fantastic bookstore, and Heifers, one of the branches of Blackwells, supplied the Cambridge Lit Fest. So if you want to go support a great bookshop, you should definitely be ordering your books from Blackwells. And of course, Blackwells is a bookshop that I used to work at when I was younger, so I have a lot of very personal connections to them. So I hope you enjoyed that video, and I hope you're staying calm and safe and happy in lockdown wherever you are. This is a really difficult time for us all. We're all missing people and events and things and just parts of our lives that suddenly we can't get to. But stay strong, look after each other, and I will be back very soon.